When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, like Aloe or Allbirds, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and great marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling, and for shoppers, buying, simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does online business better than Shopify. It's home of Shop Pay, the #1 checkout in the world. You can use it to boost conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales going through to checkout. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/income.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
He was escalating fast and I was panicking. I was alone, no one else was nearby, and help wasn't coming soon.
It made me give in, and I read the notebook he left that one night. It was bone-chilling.
When she was finally able to speak to me, she couldn't remember what she saw. Only that it was so frightening that she couldn't move her body at all.
From Killer Podcasts. True tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed. Hello and welcome back to the show. This week, we have 4 stories that will make your skin crawl. So sit back, listen closely, and dive into the horror. We'll begin with a cryptid infestation and the unlucky family who was brought to the brink. Narrated by Leah Wicks from Reddit user JustSarah123.
2 years ago, when I was 16, I had to sleep on my family's couch. My bed was broken, so it was just temporary until we can get it fixed. One night, I was a bit late going to bed. It was 1 a.m. when I closed my eyes to go to sleep, and the house was dead silent. As I was drifting to sleep, the floorboards creaked upstairs. My mom and sister slept in the same bed, which was directly above me, so I thought it was them. More creaking followed, as if someone stepped off the bed and left the room. Must be my mom. Then I heard movement in the kitchen. I couldn't see from where I was laying, but it sounded like utensils or plates were periodically moved off the counter. Eventually, pots and pans began to clank. I turned over and put my blanket over my head, trying to muffle the noise and get back to sleep. My mom will sometimes head downstairs at night to grab food for the baby, so I just needed to wait for her to head back upstairs. Soon enough, the rustling sounds moved out of the kitchen and back upstairs until they died down for the night. The next morning, I asked my mom why she was downstairs that late, and she said she didn't leave her bed at all. When I told her about all the movements, she looked so concerned. My mom told me she also heard strange things that night. Around midnight, she heard noises from my room. Laughing, clicking, typing, all of it. She thought it was me. But like I said, I was downstairs all night. My mom yelled at what she thought was me to shut up. And when I didn't reply, she thought it was because I was wearing headphones. Eventually, she heard whoever it was head to my little sister's room. So my mom went to check on everyone. She said I walked right past her in the hall and headed downstairs without saying a word. After that, my mom went back to bed. She heard more walking around the second floor that night and even galloping in our backyard around 2:40, but she didn't get up to investigate. My mom and I spent forever trying to rationalize, but nothing made sense. How did she see me upstairs? How didn't I hear her yell? What could have been making all that noise in the kitchen? We said some prayers and used holy water to cleanse the house before I consulted the internet for help. Most people thought we had gremlins living with us, which was a terrifying thought. I looked into it, and that theory checks out with some of our other experiences. My 11-year-old sister was scared of something she called the bad wolf when she was a toddler. She said it had a long tongue, pointy ears, and very large eyebrows. My other sister's 3 now, and she's having the same experience. She's scared of being alone in the house because of the monster, as she calls it. She completely refuses to enter certain rooms because of it. One time my mom heard her repeatedly say hi to something in another room, and then come running while saying scared repeatedly. My mom and I brushed all this off when it happened. Kids have overactive imaginations, and it's not unusual for them to have irrational fears. But gremlins feed off fear. And there's no doubting that crazy shit has happened to my mom and I that night. After we connected all these dots, my mom and I came up with a theory. She thought it was a curse. We've had a lot of family drama, especially with my stepsister's mom. She's a firm believer in witchcraft, so it would make sense if she was behind all this. We needed to figure out a way to fix this. A couple commenters deduced that the gremlins had 2 nests, one in the closet under our stairs and one in the boiler closet upstairs. We had a rosary come and cleanse the house, and it worked. At least for a while. 2 years passed without an incident, but last week, things started happening again. My mom's boyfriend was cleaning the dishes when my mom came downstairs. She was drinking a margarita, which is strange because she doesn't like a sweet alcoholic drink. He started talking to her and she was rude and crass, very out of character. He brought it up later and she couldn't explain why she was drinking. She also said that she didn't feel like herself. Later that day, my 11-year-old sister and I were sitting in the living room when she left to go upstairs to find her phone. Moments later, I heard a blood-curdling scream. I rushed over and found her frozen on the staircase. I asked what was wrong, and she stayed completely still. It took forever for her to snap out of it, and when she was finally able to speak to me, she couldn't remember what she saw. Only that it was so frightening that she couldn't move her body at all. Since then, my mom and her boyfriend have made the younger girls sleep in their room for protection. We all feel so uneasy in the house, and we don't know what to do. Every time this sort of thing happens, a lot of tension builds between us. The kids have difficulty sleeping, my mom can't get much work done, and we're all on edge. We're going to try a rosary again, but we have little hope that it will work a second time. I just want us to move and leave this godforsaken house behind.
Next, we'll hear about the demons that haunt your subconscious. You might only see them in nightmares, but they are always with you, watching. Narrated by Bodhi Crowe from Reddit user Vent Account 23455.
The night my newborn sister was brought home, a dark presence appeared. I began having vivid nightmares where my sister would be kidnapped, murdered, or dragged by shadows underneath her crib, and I was powerless to help her. Sometimes I'd see small, primate-like shadowy creatures running around, hiding under beds and tables, waiting for the right moment to bare their teeth and bite. The worst was the man. He was a naked, hairless, sickly-looking humanoid who became a nightly visitor to my dreams. His mere presence was enough to steal my ability to speak. Mucus would fill my throat, making me feel like I was vomiting, so any noise I tried to make came out like a gargle. He'd look at me with his black, soulless eyes and flare his snake-like nostrils before lunging at me. When he caught me, he'd wrap his fingers around my throat and slowly squeeze until I went limp, and I'd wake up in a pool of sweat. My parents bought me a dream catcher in an attempt to stop the nightmares. It wasn't helpful, but we left it up until I woke up one morning to find it snapped in half. They replaced the dream catcher, but the second was as unsuccessful as the first. The nightmares continued for years, no matter where I slept or what house I was in. My grandmother is a priest, and she even blessed our house, to no avail. When I was around 10, the nightmares finally faded, but I still wonder what caused them. Was it something psychological? A supernatural presence, maybe? I'm skeptical about paranormal stuff, but I couldn't find any logical explanations for the dark energy I had back then. For all I know, I could still be under its effects.
Everyone locks their doors at night, but sometimes the locks aren't enough. Do you really think they could stop someone hell-bent on tearing down your door? This story is narrated by Ellyn Zager from Reddit user EverAnxious247.
In 2024, I had just moved into a new house with my husband. Our place was in a developing suburb, so at this point, the street was practically deserted. It was all half-built homes and empty lots, save for my house and two others. My husband worked about 28 miles away, and I had just started a new work-from-home job, so I spent a lot of time completely alone in the house. One gloomy afternoon, I was sitting in the theater room while my husband was at work. It was only 3 p.m., but it was already dark due to the thick winter clouds. As I was working, I was startled by a knock at the door. I got this immediate uneasy feeling. I couldn't think of any reason someone would want to knock at my door on such an empty street, and I wasn't expecting any packages. I checked the security cameras and saw a huge shirtless man. He was clearly high or drunk, swaying side to side, peeking through the glass on the front door and acting a bit aggressive. When I didn't respond, he started banging louder and louder. "Open up!" he yelled. We had a security screen installed, but he was escalating fast and I was panicking. I was alone, no one else was nearby, and help wasn't coming soon. Before I knew it, he left to pick up a piece of wood at a nearby construction site and began smashing it against the door over and over. I called the cops and shakily explained the situation over the banging coming from the front door. Following their instructions, I headed to the master bedroom. I locked that door, then headed to the in-suite bathroom and locked that too. The next 20 minutes were the longest of my life. He was hell-bent on getting inside, and all I could do was watch the cameras and pray he didn't. During that time, I called my next-door neighbor. She has small kids, so I told her to lock her doors and get them somewhere safe. When the front door didn't work, I watched the crazed man go to the side of the house, hop the gate, and head for the back. Then it hit me. We had sliding glass doors there that led directly into the master bedroom, right where I was hiding. He was seconds away from shattering the glass. I rushed to shut the roller shutters to keep him from getting in. As they were coming down, he saw me. He rushed straight towards me, but before he could reach the house, the shutter hit the ground. That made him completely lose it. Completely unhinged, he threw himself at the shutters, pounding and pounding, while I was directly on the other side. Then, sirens. Multiple cop cars screeched as they stopped in front of my house. The police heard the commotion and followed his muddy footprints to the other side of the house. They caught him mid-rage at my back door. Later on, a cop came to my house and explained what happened. This guy was completely out of his mind. He had mistaken my house for a drug house. There was one all the way down the street, apparently. This whole experience left me shaken for weeks. I still can't express how grateful I am that my husband insisted on installing roller shutters and reinforced security doors when we moved in. If we hadn't, I don't even want to think about it.
In this final story, a psychopathic ex becomes a stalker, tormenting every waking moment of his victim. Narrated by Danielle Patterson, from Reddit user Dino Stores.
When I was 16, I met this 18-year-old guy on Snapchat. In just the first week of talking, he made me feel so special. I was a bigger girl, and I had a really hard time getting guys to like me, so I was easily swept off my feet. I'm now able to recognize that he was love-bombing me. There were a bunch of red flags, but I was so desperate to date someone that I ignored them. After only a week of talking, he convinced me to drive an hour to his place to hook up. We started dating, and I quickly discovered he had narcissistic tendencies. He was possessive, manipulative, and sociopathic. He even admitted he thought he was a sociopath. He convinced me that he was the only one who cared for me and got me to cut off my friends and family. Meanwhile, he was cheating on me the entire 18 months we were together. Despite all of this, I stuck by his side. I was naive and struggling with abandonment issues that stem from my father, which made me terrified of abandoning my boyfriend. I thought he needed me, so I wasn't worried about my own well-being. I even proposed to him a few days before he shipped off to join the Marines. Awful choice, I know. But if you've been emotionally and psychologically abused, you know that all you care about is what is best for your abuser, not yourself. We made it through boot camp by sending letters all 13 weeks. It felt so magical to know someone loved me enough to stay committed through something as difficult as a long-distance military relationship. I loved him so much, I saved money to drive down to California to see him graduate. It was amazing. I thought they were the best days of my life. Fast forward to a few months ago. He's back from the Marines after an other than honorable discharge and living with me. He had 2 Instagram accounts, one of which he blocked me on. But I had a second account, so I could see everything he was posting. I was always trying to see if he was cheating again. One day, he posted a story to his main account that was hidden from me. It was a joke about cheating on your dumb girlfriend. I sent him a message explaining just how unfucking funny it was and how he knows how much his cheating traumatized me. After that, I messaged some girls he followed on his other account and found out he was on dating apps. That was it for me. On April 2nd, I took his belongings to his parents' house and blocked him. Told him to never contact me again. Everything was silent for a few weeks. I was healing. This man abused me for almost 2 years. He made me believe so many nasty things about myself and my family. I would go into more details, but this is already a novel. Then at 11 p.m. one night, I got a text on my phone from an unknown number. Package arrived. Weird. I didn't order anything, and the number wasn't from an automated service. I replied with a question mark, and the number told me there was something on my porch. I hesitantly opened my door and found a notebook. I look around. No one in sight. I grabbed the book and quickly closed the door. The notebook was filled with letters from my ex, but I refused to read them. At this point, I knew he was living one town over from me, even though he hated the area and moved here just to be closer to me. However, I also knew that he didn't have a car. That means to drop off the notebook, he had to have biked 13 miles. I needed to distance myself from him as much as possible. Even though it was late, I grabbed the notebook, hopped in my car, and drove to my parents' place. That's the only place I could feel safe. When I arrived, I gave the notebook to my parents and sent another message to the mysterious phone number. I threatened to contact the police if he messaged me or came to my house ever again. That night, in my parents' bedroom, I cried myself to sleep. Just hours later, at 1:30 a.m., my phone woke me up. It was a text from another unknown number. Can you honestly tell me you've enjoyed this past month? 3 hours. It only took him 3 hours to get a new number and text me. I sent him a very long, nasty message and again told him to not contact me. I was shaking so much, I'm surprised I fell back asleep. That week, I changed my number, my garage code, and my front door code. A few weeks later, I got 3 more letters from him. One was a suicide note, describing exactly how and why he killed himself. I immediately requested a wellness check on him and had to just sit there, waiting for the police to call back. It was dreadful. Finally, the phone rings. He's alive. He told the police that he was just upset. All of this, just for my attention. I had the police relay a message that if he contacted me in any way, I'd file a report. It only took a week for me to get a message on Facebook from a fake account that was clearly my ex's. But I couldn't get myself to file the report. Instead, it made me give in, and I read the notebook he left that one night. It was bone-chilling. He admitted to lying about attempting suicide while we were together, being hospitalized, cheating on every girl he's ever been with, and so much illegal shit. He said it was better for me to believe us breaking up made him suicidal. Reading it traumatized me all over again and made me realize how I needed to protect myself from this psychopath. I headed straight to the police station to file the harassment report. 2 days later, I got more letters in the mail from him. where he admitted to watching me from a hill outside my house. He was actually stalking me. He told me it was smart to change my phone number, but since I couldn't change my address, he was going to keep sending letters until he won me over again. He also tried to get me to take back my engagement ring. Those final letters broke me. The only silver lining was that these letters were addressed from a different state, which made me think he moved away. Hopefully that means I'm safe, but I'm terrified of him. Every time I get a call from a random number, I'm sent into a state of panic. I constantly look over my shoulder, worrying that he's following me. Even in sleep, I can't escape it. I have nightmares about him all the time. He's clearly willing to do whatever it takes to get my attention, and I don't know if or when this will stop. He has really fucked me up, and I just pray he goes to jail so this doesn't happen to anyone else.
Want more Disturbed? Check out our Patreon for member-exclusive content, early merch access, and other cool perks. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed, a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more paranormal and true crime shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Follow our social channels at Disturbed Podcast on Instagram or Disturbed_pod on Twitter. If you enjoyed the show, please consider subscribing and reviewing on your favorite listening platform. Share your own true horror story at disturbedpodcast.com. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Our producer is Noah Fouts. Our audio engineers are Nathan Corson and Will Pritz. Executive producer Bridget Coyne. Until next time, stay safe out there.
When your company earns unlimited 2% cash back on all purchases with Capital One, that's serious business. So Stephen at SandCloud got a serious business card, the Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One.
We used our 2% cash back to help build our retail presence.
Savvy, Stephen.
And we get big purchasing power, so our business can spend more and earn more.
The Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/SparkCashPlus.